On this episode of IT Unplugged, we sit down with Ben Marsh, our newest IT consultant at M2 Technology, and we look at how people working with people has shaped his entire career.
At M2 Technology, we're on a mission to make IT accessible to everyone. Join us on our journey to demystify the ever-evolving world of business technology. Are you ready to get unplugged?
Welcome to IT Unplugged. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Ben.
Ben, very excited to have you here today as you're the newest team member at M2 Technology.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's kind of like a ritual now. You come on the podcast,
Right.
introduce yourself, and we kind of go through
Get
some
super
stuff.
embarrassed, you know.
Yeah.
Unusual.
It's like we don't tell you when you get hired. You have to come on the podcast. But
Guess what? You're on camera.
But you know, we'd like to take this kind of time to just get to know you a little bit, because you know, at M2 Technology, we're usually talking about people working with people. It's always nice to introduce who maybe some of our clients.
People.
Yeah, the people. That's kind of the big part. So you've had a really interesting career path, going from like Nashville sales into back to Wisconsin IT. Kind of just walk me through that a little bit. How'd you get here?
I fell into it. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So, got out of college. I was a late bloomer, you could say. I got a first degree, went back later, got a second degree. Haven't used either of them, the way it goes. But I ended up in Nashville, and I ended up at Dell selling third-party software, so like Microsoft, Adobe, Foxit, stuff like that.
Sure.
And then COVID hit. And my whole family moved back up to Wisconsin. And I was like, well, I'm not going to stay in Nashville alone. So moved back up with them and got a job at a tiny little web development company. And about a year later, I was like, I think I'm going to do something else. And then moved over to doing MSP. And it was a tiny little company as well. And then, recession hit and they couldn't afford to keep me on, which was not their fault.
Yeah.
So then I entered the workforce again, looking for another job, and Jay Geiger gave me the chance that ended up with me here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you did end up here, right?
Yeah.
Which is good for us. Yeah, which is awesome. I guess the question that I kind of have is why M2 Technology? Because there's a lot of different MSPs that are out there that you could have joined. So what kind of attracted you to this, or did you have any stakes or people you knew that kind of helped with that transition to us?
So it was definitely multiple people. Again, we're back to people working with people.
Yeah.
Jeff and Justin Geiger were the people who gave me my chance at Jay Geiger at their company, and they worked with Joe LaChapelle, our vice president.
Yeah.
And he has been trying to hire me for months now, but I was not going to just abandon them.
Sure.
So when the opportunity came for me to continue supporting them, but have a vertical move in my career and something that was a benefit for everyone, it just made sense to take it.
Yeah. I think I feel like it's a win-win all over
absolutely,
the board.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned as well that you worked for Dell, and I found this kind of interesting because we've had Dell had some changes with their partner portal, and then I immediately, that week, we're reaching out to you. I'm like, wait, you work there. What can you tell me about it?
Oh, let me call my sister. She's still there.
Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of curious, how has working for Dell and almost being on the sales side kind of impacted how you implement products and handle customers when it comes to the MSP side?
So I think that working on the sales end of it gave me a better idea of Microsoft's catalog, so I can understand the needs that a customer presents to me a little bit better because I understand more of the options of what's available to present them as a solution.
Gotcha.
So whereas someone might be specialized in a couple different Microsoft products, I was selling everything they had. So I know pretty much everything they offer when it comes to different tailored solutions that might be more appropriate for one customer or another.
Yeah. So is it easier to implement those then because you were selling them? I mean, I'm a sales guy, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm selling Cisco stuff, but you probably don't want me setting up your network. I've seen it enough where I was like, maybe I can do something, but so did it kind of help propel you to better understanding, or when you jumped into the first time you were implementing products, you're just like, oh yeah, I know this.
That's kind of what it was, because you have to know what they can do. So if you understand what they can do, you understand how to set them up correctly in order for the customer to be able to utilize them the best way they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you joined us as a tech consultant. Before in your previous job, I was looking on LinkedIn and you were called a tech wizard, which might be a cooler title. Maybe we should
That's
change
okay.
it. Yeah,
That's okay.
But I guess that kind of leads into, everybody kind of gets to this comfortability when it comes to implementing technology eventually, and it's a fun field because you're always learning. But when's the point that you were like, okay, I feel like I'm a tech wizard, or I feel like I got a grasp on this thing?
So the moment that was probably would have been when I built a Veeam server from basically scratch. Parted out everything I needed, got a chassis, put it all together, built the server, implemented the server, built the backup plan, implemented the backup plan, watched it run successfully, tested it successfully, and gave a customer an entire disaster recovery plan that allows them to have peace of mind about, if something breaks, well, we have a backup from 2 days ago, let's throw it up.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of the moment.
Yeah, that was the moment. And it's a learning process. You know, I set up the Veeam backup for our own company at the time, Tech Guides, and once I built it, I was like, well, okay, I've set up ours. I understand how it works now. I can set it up for someone else and set it up the way they need and make sure that everything works for whatever needs that suit their business.
Yeah. Well, it's so tough because it's hard to get reps in certain situations because every customer is different too. So you're going to probably do it in a different way with a different use case.
Yep.
It's like, I'm a bad golfer. We found that out at the last golf outing. But that's the funny thing is you're like, well, I went golfing last time. I should get better. But you think about it, and you're like, well, I golfed 9 holes. 6 of them I drove. So I only hit 6 shots with my driver. Am I really going to get better if I only did it 6 times? It's kind of the same thing with big projects. You got to really be intentional to learn that stuff and figure out what customers need and kind of where they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what you said, reps, is really the way that it is. The more times you do something, you get better at doing it. So, I've created 400 users in the 365 portal. I know how to do that really well. But how many times have I set up a whole network? That's a handful.
Yeah.
So, you still rely on ChatGPT and the tools available to you to make it a little bit easier, because if you have a question, you should ask a source that knows.
Yeah.
So
I think that's one of the fun things about being in an MSP as well, or, at M2 Technology, because different people, I feel like IT consultants are so interesting at our company because we're doing so many different things. And there's other MSPs that frame it out and they go, here's the server guy, and here is the network person.
And everyone's got a specific hat.
Yeah. And the cool thing about, being an IT consultant here is we're expected to do more, but it's never a thing where we still don't have those specialties where it's like, hey, this person's really good at the network stuff, so now we're going to rely on them to do this. And it gets that learning environment where you're not just kind of pigeonholed into one thing forever.
Yeah, and what I really hope to do is I hope to figure out, something that maybe I do enjoy or are better at than some other people, and then be able to teach them that so that we can all be well-rounded, and that if we have a solution we have to offer to a customer, we don't have to worry about, he's not available till next month.
Yeah.
Well, we have someone else who knows that he taught that can do it just as well, so we can get it implemented for the customer that much faster.
Yeah. So, you're kind of talking about products or things that you've used before, and you have this background in Microsoft, Azure as well, and Ninja you've used quite a bit, which is our RMM. What's kind of a product or tool that you felt is most impactful that you've learned so far that's made the biggest impact on your work?
It's definitely Ninja.
Yeah?
It's definitely Ninja.
Okay.
At Tech Guides, we used Ninja, and it was my introduction to it. So I went through the Ninja Academy and all the other stuff. And the freedom to be able to, at a glance, get all the information about a computer I needed from just that front page when you click on the device was so helpful. It saved me so much time when you have no idea what the network looks like and you've never been on site, but you can see all the devices and how they're connected, and it's just so much more useful than some of the other tools that are out there, especially the ability to remote into stuff, because at a previous job, we used just Quick Assist. And Quick Assist is fine, but it is limited. You can't see the user access control windows when they pop up. You're not an administrator, all these other things that make it a little bit harder to use. And it requires more interaction from the customer. So if it's someone who's not as technologically inclined, which happens, it can be a little bit difficult to get connected in the first place and then get control over the computer and get to a point where you can actually begin to help them. So Ninja and the Ninja remote tool are amazing, in my opinion.
There's a couple different things from a sales perspective that I love about that tool. Is usually we sit down, Windows 10 to 11, right? We're doing a lot of that transition, and you'll have a business owner that's like, all right, can we get an inventory of all of our products and this and this? And like, oh yeah, so you're probably gonna have to go to every location. It's like you're just sitting there and you're like, click. You're like, no, here's everything, and you can see all of it, and it takes a lot of that work and asset management away from like the cumbersomeness of that. Just kind of gets removed, and then the patching and everything else that's automatic. Sitting in the office with the guys, and I can hear, can I take over your computer? Yep. And then it happens like that, rather than some of those viewing tools or different things where you're like, okay, now click here, click over here, do this, and it's just very, very limited. So no, that kind of checks out.
The code is 5A3. Yeah. And you're trying to relay that over a bad phone connection, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah. So so we're kind of talking about products and different things, but a lot of times we have products and people, right?
Yeah.
And you've worked on the sales side. I guess one of the things that I would ask is, what's kind of the biggest, maybe not disconnect, but thing that you've realized about business owners that, like their priorities and what they care about versus maybe what an IT consultant would care about, and how that shaped you a little bit?
Oh, I've got one. If you think you can't spend $10,000 on a backup disaster recovery solution for a year, just wait till you need one and don't have one, and you lose $200,000 to $300,000 for being down for a week.
Sure.
It is absolutely astronomically cheaper to pay for a good, solid backup solution than to regret that you didn't and lose data or R&D or proprietary information that you can't recover because everything went down and we can't get it.
So I wonder what that psychology is. You think it's just the short-term cost versus the long-term potential gain, or is it because it just, like, if it hasn't happened yet, it's not like a hair on fire kind of thing?
It's a hair on fire thing. Okay, so the way that I've seen it happen is, well, that hasn't happened to us, so why would we need to pay for something like that? But that's not why you buy car insurance. You buy car insurance because it could happen. This is just data and business insurance, and most of your business insurance requires you to have a disaster recovery solution in place.
Yeah.
So if you don't, it would be wise to change that as soon as you can.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and it's never fun to try to convince someone that and then not have them do it, and then something actually occur. You know what I mean? Like that's not a fun situation for anybody to be in, because nobody wants to say "I told you so," because that you care about their business too. So it's not a fun thing to do, but to get that mind, that kind of shift in mentality that IT can be a proactive insurance in a way rather than just this cost center. Like there should be an ROI on a lot of this stuff. So being in sales, I'm sure that's been a way that you can hopefully communicate that to customers a little bit better.
It's helped me for sure. I can't say that my past experiences haven't helped me figure out how to do things, but the ability for me to come to a customer and sell them something they need versus something I'm just trying to sell them is the biggest difference. Because being at Dell and being able to see the options they have and what offering makes the most sense for their business has also allowed me to step back now and to go, okay, so you need this, you need this, you maybe don't need that. but we'll get you what you need, and then in the future we can reassess and find out if your needs have changed, or as you grow, maybe something serves better than what you're currently using.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of that, but I mean, we talk about this all the time, is that trust is like, you get in the door with some of the basic stuff, and sometimes it feels like some MSPs are snake oil salesmen, right? Or they're just like, hey, you need this thing, this newest thing that came out that's not proven, and you don't get a report, and it costs $500 a month. You need this, and they like break the trust because you're not seeing that, or they're not demonstrating the ROI. So sometimes it's like, hey, here's our basic stuff. We're going to get this in here. We're going to prove to you that we have your best interest in mind. And then 6 months down the road, we're going to suggest this a little bit more heavy, hey, this is really what companies your size should be doing. And, then it's in their ballpark, but hopefully you built up that trust that gets you to that point where they can say, yeah. So
and the trust is important because ultimately it comes back to, like you said, people working with people.
Yeah.
And if we want to have a relationship with the people we work with and have them trust us, we have to be able to offer them something that doesn't break the bank, serves their needs, and they can see an actual movement forward with their business.
Absolutely. So talking about people working with people, this is IT. Things break, things happen.
Sure.
I got to share this quick little thing. I was actually in a discovery meeting the other day, and someone goes, if you suggest something to fix it and it doesn't work, will you give us like our money back for anything that you suggest, like the time and stuff like that? I'm like, hey, this is IT. Like, you don't always have the exact answers. It's like a science experiment. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, there's so many variables and you have to test them. You know what I mean? So it's a tough thing because sometimes people just want like A to B. Like, this must be the answer. You know what I mean? It's not simple, like 2 + 2 = 4 all the time.
No.
But with that being said, like, things will break. And with that being said, sometimes multiple things break at once. So, and then you're also dealing with human emotion. So is there kind of a go-to for you when things start maybe falling around you a little bit and you're like, oh no, that broke and that broke and that broke. Now we need to troubleshoot. Like, what's your go-to for something like that?
The most important part that I've found when everything's on fire at the same time is you find the most important thing and you put that fire out first. The thing that's the biggest pain point for the customer.
Sure.
The thing that they're the most worried about, which is probably disaster recovery situation.
Yeah.
Where's my data? What's going to happen? You make sure that answer's found. Once the answer's been found, you can start to rebuild the rest of the system around that because you have a reference. You have a template of what was there before. And hopefully you've got good documentation that allows you to rebuild it the exact same way.
Sure.
And then you don't have any gotchas later where it's like, oh, why did that work? Well, that was handled by somebody else. Well, why didn't you tell me that? Kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and I think you touched on something that's really important too, is what's most important to the customer at that time. Because I think communication is another big one. I mean, you're still dealing with it, right? Like Cellcom going down. And that was one of those things that, like, they probably, in all fairness, they probably couldn't explain everything that was happening due to the fact that it was a cyber incident. Like, you can't tell your customers everything, right?
Hey guys, this is how they got it. If you want to do the same thing.
And like legal liabilities. But at the same time, like, people were just like, tell me what's going on. Like, tell me what's going on. So the communication aspect is so big when it comes to customers, because maybe it's not such a large scale thing as what happened with Cellcom, but maybe it's just somebody's business and that owner is more nervous than he's ever been. So it's the reassurance of, hey, it's going to be okay. We've encountered this before. We know what best practices are in place. So yeah. So you've also been in web development a little bit.
Yes.
How does that fit into IT? And does it fit into IT? Because we get all these questions on like website stuff, and there's like that little line where we'll help with some hosting, we'll do some different things, but it's different jobs. So
I don't want to be involved in web hosting any more than I have to.
Yeah.
Just because of previous experiences and horror stories that I've had to deal with. like you said, it's a different job. It's a different world. And once you take the products that are on-prem and controlled by one customer and you start bringing them out into the world, there's a whole nother mess of problems that can occur without anybody doing anything wrong.
Sure.
It still causes issues.
Yeah.
So when I was working on web development, mainly I was working on the hosting and the appointment scheduling systems in the back end, and then designing the websites themselves.
Gotcha.
So I saw all sorts of different kinds of websites. But what I think it has helped me with is something that a lot of companies use, like web forms.
Sure.
And when I understand how, so the form is out here, this is how the data comes in, this is who the data needs to go to, and it helps me understand the flow of where that information has to end up. That, I think, does help me at least kind of channel that into the right bucket. So that's helpful.
Yeah. That's always, every once in a while, where I hear, like, our web developer or like our website provider provides us our antivirus. I'm like, I don't think they do.
No, I really don't.
I'm like, I don't think that's I've heard that a couple of times, but there's this like weird thing where like business owners sometimes don't always understand this separation between these things, or because, maybe they're selling some product add-on and they're like, I think we're covered. I'm like, no,
our web developer provides us our antivirus, and it's Norton.
Yeah.
It's like, no, guys,
what is happening?
Stop.
What is happening? Yeah, so it's always a little bit interesting when we run across stuff like that, because but we won't put you on any. I don't think you're going to be creating any websites anytime soon. So,
Good.
Another vertical or another branch of our revenue
they
stream.
can deal with that.
So what kind of gets you excited, Ben, about working with small and medium businesses in Wisconsin? And now that you're at M2 Technology, we're going to fill your book up. We're going to go out and work with a lot more clients. What is that kind of like? What's the things that you're anticipating the most?
So one of the things that I experienced the last 2 times I was doing this was I really enjoyed going out to a customer and getting to know the people that I'm going to be helping, and then getting their trust, like we talked about earlier, and then them being comfortable enough to ask for help. Because who really likes asking for help? Let's be real. So them being comfortable enough to come to me and say, hey, Ben, we need your help on this. This is what's going on. This is what we want to do. Can you help us figure out a solution for it?
Sure.
Absolutely. Love it. I think it's great, especially with the smaller, the medium businesses, because they don't normally have as much support.
Yeah.
So we are their parachute, their life raft.
Yeah.
And that's a great feeling when you can take a situation they might think is a little bit hopeless, and you just bring it back into the light, and you're like, no, it really wasn't that hard, but I'm glad that you asked because I know what to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. And we need the small and the medium businesses. We have plenty of Walmarts, plenty of Shopkos.
Well, small, not that many Shopkos.
Well, yeah, let's not even talk about Kmart. It's just disappearing. It's like a dodo. But the big businesses, they have their support. They have their people. But the small ones, they still need the help.
Sure.
It's not like they don't use technology. It's not like they don't have emails and need to communicate with their customers and their employees. So being able to provide a solution for them that's tailored to their needs without spending $4,000 a month on it, hopefully, saves them all the hassle because we take care of it for them, and they still get all the functionality.
No, there's like a certain place for that. And when our owner started M2 Logistics, M2 stands for mid-market because we wanted to focus on medium and small businesses because they weren't getting that same thing. So that's great that that's what you're looking at too, because that's kind of in the DNA of how we were built. So. So, final question as we wrap up here. Sure. Sounds like an interview question. I know, right? Like,
now I'm really on the spot.
Like in 5 to 10 years, what do you see your career kind of looking like, and what do you see yourself in the IT field, like doing what?
I feel like this is a good place to be. I would like to be doing it on a larger scale, like just maybe have more customers.
Sure.
And I want to be as confident as I can in everything I'm using. So I want to learn the stack as well as I can. I want to know it inside and out so that if somebody comes to me with a question or with a problem, I'll be like, oh, I know how to fix that. And just be able to go and take care of it for them so that it's as little downtime for them as possible. there's this few head scratcher moments where you're like, I have no idea what's wrong here.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that would be my 5 to 10 year plan. Keep doing the same thing. Maybe I'd like to make a little bit more money. I mean, we all would.
Sure.
I'd like a nice car.
With inflation,
I'd like a house
hopefully
someday.
you're making more money. Everybody's making more money.
Yeah. I'd like a house. I'd like a car that doesn't sound like a lawnmower when you start it. Stuff like that. But that's my 5-year plan.
Yeah, I like it. I like those goals. Not a lawnmower car.
No, not a lawnmower car.
Not a lawnmower car. Awesome. Well, Ben, I'm excited that you're on our team and that you've brought over this kind of mentality and customer centricness that is really something that we value, and I feel like it's going to be a fun ride. So
I do too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for watching IT Unplugged. To check out all things IT, entrepreneurship, anything in the IT space, make sure that you watch our episodes and follow us.